Welcome to Financial Focus, brought to you by Gulf Coast Financial Services founder and CEO, John Kirkendall. John and his team of financial, legal, and tax professionals have been providing North Florida savers and investors sound, comprehensive financial guidance for over 30 years, helping you to achieve important life and planning goals. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more Financial Focus by visiting gulfcoastfinancial.net.
And welcome into the program. This is Financial Focus, brought to you by the best of the best in financial services, as named by the readers of the Lake City Reporter. 7 years and running the team from Gulf Coast Financial Services. Founder and CEO John Kirkendall here with us each and every week, providing us information, guidance, education on what we need to be doing and paying attention to with our money and with the economy so that we can make better financial and investment decisions. John, according to some recent studies from Bloomberg, we need the education, especially the younger generation, it seems, does not feel as confident in their financial progress and planning.
Yeah, Peter, that's surprising that nearly half of the millennials say they're living on paycheck to paycheck. And, I understand that things have a higher cost, but we also have higher wages. But, when I saw that, I got to thinking, is it because a different generation, or is it because millennials now have more than I had when I was their age? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a lot more things to take our money now. And I think we have to be budget-minded and resourceful in how we use our money.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so
I've thought many times, John, about, okay, we're dealing with inflation and we're hearing a lot about inflation right now, but it's not just the price of the things that we own that goes up. It is the fact that we add new line items to the budget over time. 20 years ago, maybe, we didn't have cell phones. We didn't have cell phone protection insurance. We didn't have identity theft protection insurance. We didn't have Netflix and Hulu and all of the subscriptions. There are a lot of additional expenses that are being added into what is sort of deemed to be the regular living expenses these days.
Yeah, and I think the other thing too, Peter, is because of the internet and because of all the things it's brought to us, it's so much easier to shop now than it ever was. I mean, Amazon has got to be the best friend to a lot of people out there.
And trouble to the budget.
Yeah, because it's so easy to look at that. And, they'll even send you a link and say, hey, we thought you might like this. And so, you look at it and you think, well, gee, I need that. And so you press send, and before you know it, it comes in, but then you got to pay for it. So I think that's a lot of the reasons that millennials, but also seniors, it's a heck of a problem for people at home who are at home a lot. Just so easy to order all this stuff.
Well, they have this study from Bloomberg focused specifically on millennials, but I have also seen other studies that show that seniors are actually the portion of the population demographically with the highest new poverty cases. They're moving into poverty higher than any other demographic group. And, there are a number of reasons for that, John, but I think that another article that we're going to look at today about the 6 myths of retirement probably will shed a lot of light on that side of the spectrum.
Well, I think you're right, Peter, but I think also, for seniors, there's a lot more there to take their money now. Inflation, all the things that we talk about. But then, as you said, there are more things that get our budget. And if we're not careful, before long, we've got, 4 or 5 subscriptions for Hulu, Netflix, all this stuff. And then we're paying $200 or $300 a month for cable and a couple $100 a month for our cell phones. And those things go up and we don't really realize it. I know that Netflix just had an increase. Well, how many people cancel their subscription because it went up a couple of bucks?
Not me.
Hey, it's only It's only a couple bucks a month.
Yep.
$24 a year. I can live with that.
I wonder if anybody has ever done a study of the new line items in the budget today versus maybe 20 years ago. I would be interested in that. I hear a lot of discussion of, oh, well, a gallon of milk costs 79 cents back at so-and-so date, and today it costs $2.79, a loaf of bread, a set of tires, a new house, a new car. But those are kind of existing things that have been time tested. I would be interested to see of how many new things have actually now been included and incorporated into the average American's budget, because I bet that number would be shocking as well.
Well, it would be, because, you know, when I was growing up, and I'm dating myself now, we didn't have cable. So we just had free TV. We had 3 channels, and we watched those 3 channels. Didn't know any better. We didn't have internet. We didn't have all the subscription services. Didn't have Amazon, so we had to go to the store to buy whatever we had. And if we didn't have the money, couldn't buy it. And I could go to the corner Minute Mart and get a half a gallon of milk and a loaf of bread, and Mama wanted to know where the change was from the dollar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, things have changed. And I think if you look at what we've added to the budgets that are now considered necessities, that really are wants, we've increased our budget 3 times from what it should have been, or what we could live with if we had to. But nobody wants to go back, you know?
Well, it's striking with this Bloomberg study of millennials, because just a couple years ago, as COVID recovery was beginning and as the government was beginning to hand out stimulus checks, and then I saw subsequent reports for about the next year that Americans were actually increasing their savings rate, and by and large in about the best financial shape they had been. But I think maybe specifically with millennials, it's also a factor of during that time, a lot of them came back home to live with parents and now are reestablishing kind of their own budget and their own adult lives and back out into their growth and progress, and now once again sort of feeling the pressures of that and feeling underprepared. So let's get them more prepared, John. Let's get them as prepared as early as possible. Let's talk now not just about millennials, but about retirement and some of the understandings that we think we have of retirement, but that could possibly need to be re-examined, could possibly be myths of retirement. And we've got a list of 6 myths of retirement. Number 1 is that retirement will be taken care of by Social Security alone. I think that in our conversation thus far, we can pretty much determine that that's probably not going to be the case.
Well, it's not going to be, Peter, since the average check is $1,657 from Social Security. That's about $19,900 a year. I don't know of anybody that wants to live at that level. And so if you're relying on Social Security alone, then that's a substantial drop. I mean, I don't know what the poverty line is now, but that's pretty close to it.
Well, I believe that Social Security is actually intended to keep us right there, hovering just above the poverty line, right?
Right. It's not supposed to be a retirement account. Let's say that.
Yeah.
But also, we know for a fact that we're getting close to the point where we're going to run out of 100 cents on every dollar being able to give it out. And we're looking at taking a 25% haircut over what we're getting now. And so, you know, there's no way that Social Security is going to be the retirement fund for everybody in the United States. You know, with a socialistic country like Sweden, you can get away with having a socialized retirement and everybody having a retirement. But with a country as large as the United States and with the population we have, there's no way that we can fund with our taxes everybody's retirement. So we have to be responsible for our own retirement. It's a great way to supplement our retirement and to give us some extra money, but it's not meant to be your retirement account.
Now, off menu of your list here, but to the point is that, John, just because Social Security doesn't cover everything doesn't mean that we want to leave any dollars on the table. We really need to make an optimal decision with Social Security. That is a service that you and your team there at Gulf Coast Financial Services do assist with, the Social Security report and optimization.
Yeah, we have what we call Social Security maximization. So we can tell you, when you come in and tell us, give us your Social Security report, we can tell you when's the best time to retire. We can tell you how much it's going to cost you to take it early and how much you're going to get when it's late. And we can come out with a crossover as to when the optimum time is. Now, it would be best if everybody could wait till age 70 and take it, but a lot of people can't. And so this report will show you the dollars you're leaving on the table and when's the best time for you to take it. Also, as we reach full retirement age, there may be some tricks in this thing or some caveats we can use so that we can get some free money while our Social Security is still growing, especially if we're a married couple. So we like to look at that report and work with everybody on that. Software is fantastic, something we didn't have 3 or 4 years ago, but now it's readily available.
And something that you can take advantage of there at Gulf Coast Financial Services. If you would like to crunch the numbers, run the scenarios, and maximize that Social Security, pick up the phone, give them a call, 386-755-9018. That's 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. John, I think you downplayed it just a little bit when you said a few dollars. The difference can be substantial. I mean, you're talking a difference of, in some cases, several hundreds of thousands of dollars in just the difference in decision that we make with Social Security alone if we just placed that piece of retirement in a vacuum.
Oh, yeah. I've seen some cases where it's $300,000-$400,000 difference between trying to maximize it and trying to take it early. Sure.
Well, let's make sure that we make the best decision with that then, because that's money that we either get or don't get. If we don't get it, it's got to come from our personal assets, or we just don't have it. Now, when it comes to our personal assets, we need to do a better job there as well. Myth number 2 is that if I participate in my 401k and contribute up to whatever match is available, that will be enough for retirement.
Well, certainly we should contribute up to the match. In our company 401k, we want to make sure that we don't leave any money on the table there either, and that we contribute up to the match. Now, I think Dave says we need to invest 15% of our earnings into savings in order to make sure that we have the retirement account that we need to have. And so we should maximize our 401k, and then we should look at doing something with a Roth. If we've got a Roth 401k option, we want to take advantage of that, or we may want to just actually contribute separately to a Roth IRA.
That is baby step 4, 15% toward those retirement accounts. If we are following Dave Ramsey's baby steps there, that is a big one. That is a benchmark. That's where Dave says you're turning the tide from intensity to intentionality, and you're beginning to build wealth and achieve truly long-term financial goals. That's the benchmark that he would suggest. I did the math one time early on, and I said, well, what if we just did 10%? And then I thought to myself, well, over a 30-year career, if we saved 10% and we made the same amount of money over the entire 30-year career, by the end of that career, we would have only saved 3 years worth of what we were accustomed to making. So, maybe that pushing toward 15% is a good idea. And at the very least, as you said, capturing whatever match is available is really absolutely essential. Number 3, this one struck me as kind of ironic as well. I'll work through retirement. Maybe that's a mindset that a lot of people have. I have heard of more and more people, John, saying, I don't want to retire, I just want to rewire. Is that what this myth alludes to?
I don't know. I don't think so, Peter. I think what people have in the United States especially is this Superman complex, that I'm never going to get sick, I'm never going to have an injury, and that I'm going to be able to work and do the job that I'm doing right now forever. And, in a lot of cases, especially with manual labor where you're lifting and you're doing things that exert energy and muscles. As we get older, our muscles aren't as strong as they used to be, and we're not able to continue at the pace we did. I think that is something that Americans don't really understand. The other thing too is that as we get past 65, there's more and more chance that we're going to get ill. We're going to have a hip replacement, a knee replacement, back surgery. I mean, all those things come into play, and people are not, they're not indestructible. So we need to not, it's kind of like while I'm working, there's nothing that says I'm going to be able to support my family forever. I need to have insurance, disability insurance, life insurance to cover me during those times. We need to have that retirement account insurance for when I get old because I can't work. And the thing that we've learned, and we talked about it on the last show, is I'm going to need as much money in retirement as I needed yesterday when I was working. There's no way I'm going to need less because things cost more. You look at gasoline, you look at all the stuff that we have to have, and it all costs more. Cars, everything costs more.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to cost even more because as we continue to raise the minimum wage, we're going to continue to fund higher prices and higher cost of goods. There's no way that we can pay somebody $15 an hour and not pass it on. So I don't know where people think that, the profit's going to come from, but there's no way this myth's going to work. Myth number 3, I think, is a figment of imagination for Americans that they're just going to live forever. I can tell you this, at my age, I'm not where I was 10 years ago. Physically, mentally, I'm okay, but physically, I just can't do it anymore. I often wondered why older retirees said that they don't have any time. Well, the reason is it takes us twice as long to do something as everybody else because we have to rest. We think about it, we meditate on it, and then we go do it. And so this one certainly ain't going to work, I can tell you.
Well, luckily for you, you're not Fred Flintstone busting rocks and sliding down a dinosaur's back. No. However, I think to your point, absolutely, and you're doing a great job of moving through these myths and segueing. Myth number 4, Medicare will cover my medical expenses. The medical expenses are going to be there. To your point, though, previously about needing to replace the working career income. Let's say even if there was a substantial difference and we started day one of retirement only needing 70% of our income. Last year's inflation was 7.5%, so we're already back up. And then regular inflation of 3% would double our need for income, double our expenses in about 24 years. So now we're all the way back up to 140% of our working career income. Oh, and by the way, those medical expenses are one of the largest components of additional expenses that we add into the budget into retirement.
And also, segueing with what you just said, Social Security gave us, what was it?
5.9, almost 6, but then Medicare eats it up.
Then my Medicare went up 12%. So I really didn't gain anything overall. It actually cost me money. So I'm not going to be able to do that. Medicare is not free. I realized that when I got on Medicare, that it cost me just as much for my Medicare premiums, my Part B, my supplement, and my drug card as it did when I had regular insurance. So while everybody thinks that when I get 65, I'm going to be able to go on Medicare and I'm not going to have any cost, that's not true. Married couple, almost $400,000 over their lifetime at age 65 on expenditures. The other thing, which is a big one, is that Medicare will not pay for long-term care. It only covers for 1 year in a rehab facility. It will not cover long-term care. And, that cost is going to get astronomically large before we know it. And there's nothing we can do about it. And there's no really way that we can protect it unless we start now and do some hybrid investing to give us some protection for long-term care. But as the insurance companies have determined, we cannot actuarially predict long-term care cost. So nobody offers it anymore.
Yeah, and even the insurance industry behind the scenes had problems projecting the costs of long-term care,
Yeah.
the rise in costs, the number of people who would need it, how long they would need it for. So, John, that's why you often talk about these linked benefits or hybrid solutions or other ways to address this issue, but not one that we should ignore. Certainly not for our financial well-being, and also our emotional and mental well-being. Knowing that we have that covered will serve us well and benefit us into and throughout retirement. Knowing that we've at least discussed how we will address that. John, talking about all of these serious topics, myth number 5, it's simply too late for me to plan for retirement. Too late for me to save or do anything about these things. That's a complete myth. Never too late, right?
No, it's never too late to start. I mean, what you need to do is get with a financial professional, work out a budget, figure out how you can save money, and then start saving so that, if you're 40 and you retire, you contribute 25% of your income towards retirement until you're 67, you'll have $592,000. And that's better than nothing, Peter. I mean, it's better to have that as a reserve fund and be able to pull out of that during retirement than it is not to have anything. We have to start somewhere. And if you haven't started, now's the ideal time. If you're young, now's the ideal time. And even after you retire, if you're working part-time or if you have extra money, it's great to stay on that budget and make sure that you're spending the money for what we talked about. And that's the reason we work up that income plan here, is so that we take all of your expenses, your budget, and we project that out. And then we look at it every year. And if you've gone off, if you took a trip this year that you weren't expecting, then we won't take one next year. If you're willing to do that, we can work out that income plan for you and give you the kind of retirement you want.
But a lot goes into it, and we don't know what we don't know. Myth number 6, I can handle this. I can do it on my own, John.
Well, Peter, I got to tell you, I've been doing this a long time now. I've been working 50 years in this industry, 20 in banking, 30 here. And I've made some mistakes in my own retirement along the way. Took Social Security when I didn't need to. I wasn't penalized, but I thought, well, I might as well go ahead and get it. Had I waited until 70, it would have actually given me another $200,000 over my lifetime, which I really could use. Be nice to have that. You know what I mean? Could buy another old truck or something. And there are things that I've done because I thought, I was doing the right thing. I have learned, and we're learning every day in this industry, different techniques. Computers are helping us. Software is improving. There's no way that an individual can learn what you and I have learned in the time that we've had. It's just too complicated. We're going to make mistakes.
As a famous North Carolina quarterback said, hindsight is 50-50. But as has also been said, smart people learn from their own mistakes. Geniuses learn from the mistakes of others. John, don't feel as though we've got the time or luxury to be learning from our own mistakes and achieving that ideal retirement.
Well, if everything was easy, the University of Florida football team wouldn't have a head coach. Everybody just get out there and run around. Somebody needs to coach those people and keep them in direction, give them some discipline, help them become the best football players they can become. And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to help everybody become the best retirees, the best savers that they can be. The better job we do now, the better it'll be later in life. And so that's really our mission. That's what we try to do.
Well, that is something that they do help clients achieve each and every day there at Gulf Coast Financial Services. And if you would like to make those important steps in your financial progress into your future to make sure that you have a handle on your money, on your finance, on your investment, and how to bring it all together in a plan and address some of the myths of retirement and of money, pick up the phone, give them a call, have a sit down, have a conversation. Start with just a phone call with Gulf Coast Financial Services founder and CEO John Kirkendall and the rest of the team there at Gulf Coast. You will find that they are experienced, qualified professionals that can help you look at your situation in many different lights, different aspects. Of course, sister company Gulf Coast Tax Advantage right there under the same roof as well, looking at things from a financial and a tax planning standpoint and point of view. Pick up the phone, give them a call, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018, 386-755-9018. You can also visit online, gulfcoastfinancial.net, gulfcoastfinancial.net. Lots of fantastic resources available for you there. And we will link to the article that we have been discussing, articles on today's program in the description of the podcast. You can find that on the homepage, on the blog page, and you can also find the videos out on YouTube or wherever you choose to surf social media. John, you're everywhere. At Gulf Coast Financial. At Gulf Coast Financial is usually where people can find you, right?
That's right, Peter. We're always here. We're always waiting.
Well, give them a call, ladies and gentlemen, if you need help, assistance, direction, answers to any questions about your money that have been on your mind. 386-755-9018. John, appreciate the time. Great show today.
Thank you, Peter. It was great to be here, and this really was a good show. Thank you.
Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and tune in for more financial focus by visiting gulfcoastfinancial.net. The information presented on this program is provided for informational purposes only, without warranty of accuracy, completeness, or suitability for a particular purpose. This program is not intended to be and does not constitute financial, investment, legal, or tax advice. This information is general in nature and not specific enough to be construed as advice. You should not make any decision based on the information presented on this program without independent consultation with an appropriately licensed professional or competent advisor. Investment in securities or the market involves a potential risk for loss of principal. Trading, therefore, may not be suitable for all listeners. Annuity guarantees are based solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing company. Withdrawals of growth from annuities may be taxable as ordinary income in the year it is taken. Individuals should review contracts for specific details of the product's features and costs. Early withdrawals may subject the owner to penalties, fees, or taxes. John Kirkendall is registered with and securities are offered through Kovac Securities Inc., member FINRA SIPC, found online at www.kovacsecurities.com. Advisory services are offered through Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc., a registered investment advisor in Florida. Gulf Coast Financial Services Inc. is not affiliated with Kovac Securities Inc. or Kovac Advisors Inc. Past performance is not indicative of future results. All investing involves risk. Investment decisions should be based on your own goals, time horizon, and tolerance for risk. Due to various factors including changing market conditions and/or applicable laws, the content may no longer be reflective of current opinions or positions.